Good morning and welcome to Future Auto Solutions live stream. Future Auto Solutions, we're here to enhance the car buying experience for the customer and the dealership. So, if you're a car dealership, a used car salesperson, this show's for you. And we're here to talk through the weekly issues that we have identified that people are talking about in the media today. And I'm here. I'm Steve Todd, and I'm here with my brother, co-founder, Gordy. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. I'm doing good.
And how are things there in the UK? Obviously, I'm in New York. You're in Northern Ireland, so we
Yeah,
get to be able to bring people different perspectives.
yeah, no, things in the UK much the same. Talk of dealerships opening, which is encouraging. Body shops are definitely opening next week, which is encouraging. So yeah, no, things are starting to progress a wee bit forward. So hopefully that keeps going. I think the same for New York and America. I think is the same.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And obviously, many states in the US have opened their or ceased their lockdown orders. States have,
Yeah,
and that obviously allows then car dealerships to open up. And we discussed last week, some of the protocols that dealerships are putting in place, and anyone who wants to sort of see our thoughts on some of those protocols and how to message that to customers, they can sort of take
yeah.
a look at last week's video. So what do you think? What do you think that means? In the short term, for car dealerships if they're able to open, do you think their customers will come back?
No, I think there'll be, as far as I know, I mean, well, only going on what's sort of out there. I think that the last thing people will be doing is going buying a car. And once the lockdown opens, I think they'll probably be more contacting the dealership to discuss problems that they had in the intern period, questions that sort of came up. Um, I think sort of for dealerships opening, I think it's more of a workshop basis is more going to be encouraging for them at the very outset. And then car sales, hopefully in turn, will sort of steady pick up as it goes along. But I think there's challenges ahead for dealerships to get them customers back in the mood and in the mindset of changing and looking at what is available to them. Um,
Yeah, yeah, no, and I've
yeah,
seen I've seen conflicting reports, right, where there was articles published this week that sort of was saying sales are up,
yeah,
um, against prior week. But again, I don't know what the prior week was a very low base. So it'd be interesting to see where those sales were
absolutely.
compared to last year. So it's hard, but obviously the indicators are that there is positivity there. On the flip side of that, we see content being published that there is huge stocks of new cars sitting in ports all over the US waiting for the market to kick off. So
Absolutely.
where do you think, or do you have an opinion on where the sort of deals will be there, or how dealerships should, approach new cars versus used cars? And
Yeah, well, I mean, funny, I had a meeting and this week actually. It was I have a customer who's looking a business that's been carrying on through the virus and was able to still manage and continue, but they're looking me to replace some vans, commercial vans. Um, the deals are there, leasing deals are there, but the problem is logistics. I contacted the dealership about availability, about they have stockpiles, but they're in places they cannot get a hold of. So this is where it's all gonna, I've seen the reports of stockpiles of car parks full of stock around Europe or around wherever they hold them. But unfortunately, until the snowball
mm,
gets right down the line of everything is open and everything's moving and freight's not moving from port to port, things aren't getting off. So unfortunately, that's where it's going to be. Manufacturers and dealers are going to have to come up with offers and things to get things moving. But then at the same hand is they're going to have to overcome
all that
the
supply chain issues.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and again that is going to be something that is a challenge for where is where we did maybe discussed a wee bit last week is where the used car I feel is going to be the big winner in the whole thing, um until things get absolutely back to where it is
Yeah,
again.
and it's an interesting thing you raised because I did see some content this week around, will people trust public transport or will they switch to their own personal
Yeah,
vehicle?
seen the other used to me. Yeah,
You know, and I know, like, living on Long Island, commuting into New York City, the thought of getting on a train, a subway is just so far from people's heads, where they're probably more likely to sit in a car, sit through traffic because they
exactly.
feel safe and
Yeah,
secure in that. And I think organizations may compensate employees for that, for the people they want to bring in, whoever are the essential workers, you know.
yeah, yeah,
So I think you're right. And obviously, as lease expires, it'll be interesting to see the purchasing decisions.
yeah.
Um,
You know, I I think, and to be honest with you, I mean, as those leases expires, I think a lot of people will be maybe holding tight and refinancing. Um, a lot of people maybe just sort of, I think that the government and enough people have spoke about this sort of second dip or the increase,
second
and I
wave,
think I
yeah,
yeah, yeah, and
yeah.
I think people maybe have a mindset. I know my own. I was discussing different things that I was looking at, maybe getting involved with, as in moving and different things like that. I put everything on hold, and okay, if things go back on, I still think, okay, let's just give it a few months to see how things go. So I think the same applies to people purchasing a car or looking at end a lease or looking at committing to something new again. Are they going to look at something a wee bit more affordable, or looking at something a wee bit more or less? And again, bang the same drum. I think that's where the used cars is going to win again. Because
Yeah.
people might think, okay, well, listen, let's not commit to a contract hire or an agreement. Let's purchase something a wee bit more modest, have a monthly payment, it's a bit more, have a bit of warranty with it, and see how things pan out.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
um, it'll be interesting to see just I mean, because at the minute before all this happened, the new car, everything was doing really well, and now speaking for the UK, manufacturers were developing, things were changing, diesels were getting phased out, petrols were going strong, electric cars are coming, everything was moving forward, and all of a
Hmm.
sudden, it'll be interesting to see how everything sort of clicks back into place.
Yeah. Yeah, and also the other thing we have to keep in mind, when things open up, we're moving into what would be called the traditionally slow months for car dealerships, right? You're into June, July, August.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so while things open up, they're probably traditionally quiet. I mean, who knows? Because will people still go on vacations, or will they look? Because people get itchy
yeah,
fingers, right? And they feel that
yeah.
they
They
want to
like to do
buy stuff,
something.
and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
perhaps there's
The
opportunity
car
there.
might
So
be.
that'd be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah,
So one thing I did want to talk about, and it sort of leads to the title that we sort of put in today's live stream,
yeah,
and it was something that was put out from, it was a Cox Automotive study, and it showed that 37% of 6-month intenders are less likely to purchase or visit a dealership in person
yeah,
until obviously due to the coronavirus concerns.
yeah,
So obviously, as we think about Future Auto Solutions, we think about the sort of products and the way we're trying to set up the program, and
yeah,
as we're thinking about advertising cars and our approach, obviously we don't really necessarily need somebody to come because of how we engage with our
yeah.
customers. But what do you think that 37% reduction means for car dealerships?
I think 37% reduction. I mean, I think that is a general trend that has been happening over a period of time. I'm only speaking obviously in the UK market, so I don't think it's anything new, or a new challenge that's facing the dealerships in the UK. I think it would make you more set up and aware of how you handle your incoming inquiry. Your interaction on the website, the interaction on social media. Um, but again, I think as dealerships go forward, I think they have to more think about having someone you know more automotive in mind, selling in mind, handling inquiries. So I think
Hmm.
going forward is about you know if you've got 37% of people less coming into your showroom traffic, which has always been a problem. It's getting less and less. Showroom traffic is getting less and less. So you need to start thinking outside, and it's how obviously I came to what I do, and then obviously to introduce it to you of how we handle things with people from their own homes and being able to engage and sort of show empathy and everything else that sort of people need to actually get to the end result of that appointment and control the whole process, where it's one visit, one transaction, and the deal is complete, instead of, in my sort of start times, when things used to be, I came in once, they got a brochure, they came in twice, they got a, maybe a test drive, they came back again to talk about something else. That is gone. It's more of the here and now, and people do the research online, they do, magazines online, everything is online now. You can find out anything you want to find out about, people's reviews, people's, fuel efficiency, future values, how things are going to work, so it's about, whenever people do actually take that step, contact the dealership, you take it, it's almost as that is your first point of contact, and that is your first, appointment, as actually the customer coming in, and, you do your meet and greet, where you used to do it actually shaking people's hands. Now it's, over the internet by typing with your fingers, so
Yeah.
it's interesting, and I I don't know how, as I say, from the research and looking at what, how my sort of inquiries have been handled in the few dealerships we tried in the US. I think it's probably going to be more of a what's the word? It's going to be something more difficult to overcome, rather than where the UK market is sort of, we're not there yet, but we are sort of adjusting and changing, so it'd be interesting.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see how their marketing strategies do change, right, in the US. I mean, obviously, I think there's going
Yeah,
to be more and more programs available for online on for digital selling. And obviously, the way we've structured Future Auto Solutions is, we are trying to engage and form a relationship with buyers, so that by the time you just mentioned, by the time they connect with us is actually because we have a product that they have done the evaluations, they've done all the research, they actually think, oh, I can afford this. This is what I want. This is what I'm
yeah,
looking for. So in essence, by the time they reach out to Future Auto Solutions, actually they're motivated buyers. And
yeah,
that's why
yeah.
the sort of the close rate is so high, but also the moment it goes to the market and to the moment it sells is so short.
Correct. Yeah, it's a turnover, and
Mm.
again, it's going to be crucial in this sort of startup, again, is turnover of stock. You alluded to the stockpiling of new cars. Well, the more of a risk for the dealerships, and the real now here and there, is that what's they've spent on the stock sitting in the forecourt.
Yeah.
It's where their money's already paid out. The stockpiling is the manufacturer's problem. The car sitting on your forecourt is the dealership's problem. So it's about how, whenever you get back in, everyone's talking about obviously less footfall, people fear of coming out, people's, so it's about how quickly can you engage with the customer in your area and your postcode, and your we talk about chimney pots in Northern Ireland, there are many chimney pots in your area. So it's about, talking about, how you
Mm.
actually engage with those people, and try and turn them into appointments, and I mean, I had today an example of, someone came on my Facebook, a young girl who's, early 20s, but she seen our posts, and she was able to engage and talk about actually PCP finance. She understood it by researching what it was, and it was able to come to me and say, look, this is what I want. This is what I
Yeah.
need. How can we go about getting this done? And can we function this way right now? And I'd done up a step by step how I operate, send it to her, and just copy and paste, and we're moving forward with hopefully get the deal done. So it's about, people are absolutely clued into all the terms and all the phrases and all the, the money that dealerships and everything are using now. So it's just, about putting the message out there and actually having something for someone to come back and say, I'm
Yeah, no,
interested.
no, no,
Yeah,
and you sort of you take that question where your prospective customer has asked you. I mean, whenever you think how much work, time, and effort goes in a showroom to get a customer to that question, is so much time and effort, right?
absolutely.
And in essence, right, it's most dealerships want to sell people a car, and but they also know, and they should know that the customer probably knows what price that car should be based on all
Yeah,
the research they've done, the competitive analysis they've done, be it different makes, different models, different dealerships. They know what the price of the car is, and yet whenever you're sat face to face with that car salesperson, when they're asked that question from the car salesperson, it feels quite intimidating.
yeah,
Emotionally, you feel like you're against the wall, you're backed. But in this social media environment, this person sitting wherever they're sitting, they feel very secure, sending you that very direct question.
exactly. Yeah,
And as you as someone who's want to sell that product, that gives you the perfect opportunity then to convert, to have that conversation to find a
yeah,
solution that works.
yeah. I mean, you're starting on the first sort of conversation interaction with the customer. You're maybe 7 steps of the process down the line,
Hmm.
and you're not
Hmm.
jumping ahead of the steps. The customers control, done that by themselves,
Right.
and sometimes people talk about knowledge is power. Customers feel that way too. Not just
Hmm.
dealership in the selling process. Customers feel, well, if I know all this in my head, I'm able to have an intellectual conversation and to feel a wee bit more. I'm on a level playing field. So and it's nothing to be afraid of or intimidated by. It's about just having the information to hand and be able to, when the customer sort of comes to you with a question, having the sort of the knowledge in your own mind, but also the empathy and sort of to slow the customer down and say, okay, this is not a problem. This is how we do it, and this is what this is where we go, and this is, you know, I don't think whenever things open up, obviously when dealerships open up and everything else, I mean, it's a massive opportunity to get going again, to get things going fast, and to get sort of customers in the buying frame of mind again. So it's hopefully, I mean, if we were able to sort of get someone to come on board with us, we'd be able to sort of,
Yeah. Demonstrate that. Yeah.
really, really try and demonstrate it, in the US. And I mean, I know it works here in the UK and it works in my day-to-day business, and I live, breathe it, and understand it. So it's just about, getting someone on board and really making a difference for somebody.
Yeah, and yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, so if you're a dealership, used car dealership, or you're a salesperson that maybe you've lost your job and you're looking at avenues and ways to
Absolutely.
get in, we'd be open to working with any of those folks to sort of help, educate on the things that we do. We're offering a free 15-minute consultant with anyone who's interested, be it, as I said, a dealership, or maybe you're a salesperson who's lost a job and is interested to know more about what is this process that we're offering, that we've found huge success with in the UK, that we don't believe is being marketed or executed in the US, that will allow you to engage directly with customers and actually engage with customers who actually are motivated to actually be buying. So reach out to this email, and just send us a quick note, and we'll be able to get back with you. As I say, we're offering a free 15-minute consult. So yeah. So any last thoughts about this week? Any lessons that you've learned that you want to share?
No, I mean, lessons I've learned this week is just that, well, it's going to be a challenging time with finance companies. It's going to be is the lesson I learned this week, getting them back on board and sort of going 100%. But I also learned that the market is still absolutely wide open. People are open to buying and changing their cars as always. We're very, very fortunate to be in the trade where things just keep changing, and people do have a need and have to change their cars. So it's not ever going to be completely hurt, and we can always recover from it. But I think if we can say, I keep saying the same thing, but hopefully someone comes back and we can get actually interacting and then really get to see what we can do to help and turn around some businesses.
I wonder who's going to be the first brave person, the
I would
first
like to
brave
see.
soul.
They're not that brave, are they? Like, it's free of charge. Come on.
What's to be lost? You're right.
Exactly, man.
And
Exactly.
we could offer a 90-day money back guarantee to help motivate
Yes,
people.
I would do that. I would do that.
Uh, all right, Gordy. Well, look, it's great speaking with you, and obviously we'll be here next Sunday, so 8
Yeah,
a.m. Eastern time in the US, which I believe is 1 p.m.
1
Sunday
p.m.
in the UK.
Yeah,
So
it's going to be a big
do,
week.
it's going to be a big week. Yeah, and
Yeah,
also look
things are
forward
going to get
to
turned back on. Yeah,
chatting with you next week to sort of see what
absolutely.
what this big week looks like. But thanks, Gordy. Appreciate it, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah, take care. All the best.
Cheers.